I did, like I said in that last recent reads, like I picked up a couple of single issues for myself, and I told him I was like, well, I'll be back on Wednesday. I was so afraid that he wasn't gonna have the second issue of Earth Diver. Hey y'all, welcome back to another recent reads. I know I typically don't start my recent reads like this. I usually am in the car, which I will be in the car when this really officially starts. But I wanted to introduce y'all to the company Magic Mind because I will be taking Magic Mind shots throughout the video. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the product that I'm going to be taking and the initiative that they have going, which I think is completely amazing. So they are also sponsoring today's video, but I wanted to give you a little bit of insight, and you're going to hear me talk about the different things associated with Magic Mind. So Magic Mind was designed for long-term boost in cognitive energy and stress maintenance. It is not just a fleeting charge up. They recommend taking it consistently for 7 to 10 days for full effect. It's different from coffee and energy drinks because it focuses on boosting your energy, increasing your focus, boosting your memory, boosting your mood, decreasing your stress, decreasing inflammation. Heaps of antioxidants are in it, and it supports immunity, which is amazing. So it's definitely different than coffee and energy drinks, which typically focus on increasing like your anxiety. It increases your sleeplessness, and a lot of that time that stuff can be harmful. So one of the things that I think is awesome that Magic Mind is currently doing is they have an initiative where they are attempting to save the rainforest. So they're helping with the restoration of one of Brazil's sectors of the rainforest called Fazenda São Nicolau. And what they're doing is they're taking all the views from the 14 days of magic into cash, and they send it to the project through their partner Pachama. So for every 10,000 views the hashtag gets on social media, they donate $10, and their goal is to reach 30,000 donated to make a bigger impact and help speed up the project's effort. So more about the organization is it's a Brazilian restoration project owned by the French National Forestry. So most of the project area was heavily deforested in the late 1980s and 90s for both cattle ranching and coffee production, and the project has pledged extensive afforestation, reforestation, and revegetation activities to increase the forest carbon stock and recover its invaluable biodiversity. So the campaign lasts until the 30th November. The way that you can kind of help is I am going to be helping you join the challenge. So you can purchase Magic Mind with my unique discount code, which is Bookishrealm 14, and you can create any content around the challenge and film it. Any type of content, the same content that you create, you can post it on IG, TikTok, or YouTube with the hashtag 14 days of magic, and then you submit the content through the link, which I will leave down in the description box below. And then at the end of the campaign, you can possibly win a subscription to Magic Mind, and then all the views that you generate will be matched in cash as donations to the reforestation project that I discussed. So I'm really excited to jump into this. I've been looking for alternatives to doing caffeine and energy drinks. Caffeine and I have been having a very difficult relationship lately, and it's one of the main ways that I've been focused. I've definitely kind of steered away from energy drinks because of the fact that energy drinks make me very jittery and very anxious, and I have stopped taking those completely because they just are not great for you at all. So I wanted to show you that the Magic Mind comes in this box, which I think is really, really cute. And then when you open it up, you get these Magic Mind bottles, which are cutely designed, if it will focus, and then it tells you all of the ingredients that you'll be consuming, which is great. And all of the ingredients are all natural, which is the point of all of this, is that finding a more natural alternative to consuming caffeine and then also consuming energy drinks, which energy drinks are just completely not good for you. And caffeine for me, I don't want to start getting into a phase where I start going through caffeine withdrawal, which I think I had before, and it's not been fun. So sit back, enjoy this recent reads, follow along with me as I take my shots of Magic Mind. And like I said, if you're interested in joining the challenge, the link will be down in the description box below, as well as a discount for you to get 20% off, which is Bookishrealm 14. Good morning, welcome to number 13, not week 13, number 13 of recent reads. I am uploading today recent reads number 12. Y'all, it's like an hour and 55 minutes long because I could not get my act together in the month of October and upload my recent reads every week like I was supposed to. But also, granted, October was a very, very busy month for me, like work-wise and just like personal wise. I just had a lot going on, so like I was not keeping up with like my check-ins and stuff like that. Is everybody turning here? Okay, well then I'm gonna go. I'm headed to work this morning, and it is October 31st. It's Halloween. It's raining here, so the weather's just like not really good. So the possibilities of us even doing something tonight is probably like next to nothing. I was gonna take baby girl trick-or-treating, but I think we may just go to a friend's house and kind of hang out. I am about to take my first Magic Mind shot this morning, which if everything goes right, you would already have seen the clip about the Magic Mind stuff. So yeah, so this is what the bottle looks like, which you probably would have already seen some of the bottles, hopefully, but this is what the bottle looks like. I'm so nervous about, I'm hoping that it works. It is nothing but an herbal supplement, but I'm gonna go ahead and open it and see what happens, and go ahead and take this first shot and see if I have any noticeable changes. And it's probably gonna take a couple of days for me to notice anything, but I'm gonna put this camera down so I can open up the bottle, and then I will like film myself as I take the first shot. Okay, here goes the first shot. It actually does not taste bad. I was so nervous that it was gonna taste bad, and it really doesn't. The honey and it really helps. That was not a stress. I do so bad with like herbal supplements and stuff like that because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not gonna taste good. But that was not bad. Okay, so anyway, let's see here. Reading plans for today. I have no idea what I am going to listen to at work today. I have some stuff that I really do need to get done at my desk today, so I probably for the most part will be rather stationary, so I can potentially get a lot of listening done. I was listening to the first book in the Warrior series by Aaron Hunter, which is it is a pseudonym for a whole group of writers that are, or a pen name for a whole lot of writers that write the books. It's interesting. I definitely understand why kids love them so much. It's fantastical adventure from the perspective of cats that are wild cats, like not house cats. So the main cat was prior, he was a house cat, or they call the two leg, like a two, I forget what they call them, but like property of two legs, humans, essentially. And he comes across these warrior cats because he's hunting in their territory outside, and they're basically like, hey, you're in our territory, what are you doing, who do you think you are? And then they realize that he has like certain talents and gifts where they want to take him on as an apprentice so he could be part of the Thunder Clan. What's so cool about this book, and what I think I'm going to love about the series, is that it is going to be focusing on several different clans. So we have the Thunder Clan, which is the clan that we're focusing on in this book, with I think his name prior to his warrior name, which is Fireball. I think his name was Rusty before they gave him the name Fireball, but he's becoming a part of the Thunder Clan, so we're really getting a lot of the perspective from the Thunder Clan. But then there's like the Shadow Clan, there's the Water Clan, or Wind Clan, and I think they're really having issues with the Shadow Clan right now, because the Shadow Clan has essentially pushed the Wind Clan out of their territory, and honestly a lot of it has to do with like resources. They're all competing for food to be able to nourish and provide safety for their clans, and so they are fighting over territories, which I think is so cool. I definitely understand that this series is not going to be for a lot of people. I think kids will love it, but as far as like adults reading it, I think if you're not a fan of any type of book that is told from the perspective of animals, like, you're just not gonna dig this. This is not gonna be your jam. But I think because I know, like, the target audience, who it's written for, and the appeal that it will have towards that audience, like, I'm enjoying it. I'm reading it actually quite slowly because I want to make sure that I'm grasping everything, because if you didn't know, like, the Warriors books are a huge fucking series. Like, it's super extensive. There's lots and lots of books that are still getting published, and there's spin-offs, and so I'm taking on, like, a huge task by trying to read as many of these as possible. But also, like, I've been wanting lately to dive more into some popular children's book series, and so I'm just slowly doing that. A lot of these audiobooks, if you are interested in them, are available via Hoopla, if your library has access to Hoopla. I think the only one that, no, they have all of them on Hoopla. I think I was trying to listen to them on AnyPlay as well, but AnyPlay, for some odd reason, doesn't have the second book. Y'all, I have looked up reading guides and the whole nine for the series because I am so interested in continuing on. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do once I get in is I'm going to be finishing up the Warrior series. Now, this is the last day of October. I was going to try to read one more thing for Blackoweenathon, but I think that I am going to stop. I've read, I believe, 6 books for Blackoweenathon, so I'm very, very happy with that because my goal was originally 4. So I'm happy that I read 6. So I went above my goal. And I am going to focus on reading my single issues that I plan to pick up from when my last recent reads, when I went to the comic book store. It was so great seeing him. Oh my gosh. I was so happy to see the guy who owns the my comic book shop that I go to. I told him, I was like, listen, I live right down the street from you now. And he's like, Ashley, we've missed you. Like, and I was like, I know, like, I had not been in there in a long time, y'all. And so it was great to take baby girl there to, like, do her first free comic book day and stuff like that. And so I did, like I said in that last week's reads, like, I picked up a couple of single issues for myself, and I told him, I was like, well, I'll be back on Wednesday. Like, they're so great, y'all. Like, I definitely have to continue to support them as much as I can. Like, I probably cannot spend the money that I was spending in the past because obviously my financial situation has gotten better, but also I now have mortgage and stuff like that. So, but, you know, just, you know, picking up a couple of issues every week from them and just, you know, showing my face, I think, you know, I definitely want to support them. It's a local small business. And so, yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and listen to a little bit more of the Warriors while I'm on my way to work. And then I will check in later. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday, November 1st. I can't believe we're already in November, y'all. This is ridiculous. So last night we did end up going trick-or-treating, which was fun. We came home, took baths and showers, and went to sleep because it was a lot. It was fun, but it was definitely a lot. So I am making myself some eggs this morning to eat when I get to work, and I am going to be taking my second day of Magic Mind. Actually, I need to kind of like shake this up. It actually made me feel good yesterday. I don't know if it's possible to feel it that quickly, but my energy was good yesterday. I was not like slogging or anything like that, and I've been making sure like I'm drinking a lot of tea and water while I do on this, so that's good too. But the taste, like I said, the taste isn't bad, so definitely not a bad product here, y'all. Like, definitely not. Okay, here's to day 2. Yeah, I can work with that. All right, so I will do the reading update when I'm in the car. I need to box these eggs up, get some yogurt, pack the rest of my lunch, and get ready to go. So I'll check in with y'all in a second. Okay, so now that I have baby girl off to school, I am headed into work this morning, which I don't know, but I just felt like well rested this morning. It was just so different for me. It's so different for me. Let's see what is going on here. Okay, so I finished 2 books yesterday. I ended up finishing random to wrap off and finish off the month of October. I ended up reading one of the I Survived books, which is a children's book series. I literally read the whole book during my lunch period. It's a chapter book series that I saved for about like 3rd to 4th grade. I'm not sure why I started with book 3 in the series. It's not like they're interconnected or anything like that, but you can read them completely out of order. So I started off with the 3rd book, which is I Survived Hurricane Katrina, 2005. This is a very, very popular kind of like disaster / historical fiction type of series, where the author Laura, she does a lot of research behind these natural disasters and she fictionalizes them to a certain degree. So not the actual like things that happen, but the characters are fictionalized characters based off of like her research and stuff like that. So she creates these characters in a super accessible way. That way, like, younger readers can learn about these natural disasters from this perspective of kids that are like their age, which I really did enjoy. It had some illustrations. This one specifically focuses on, like I said, Hurricane Katrina, where we follow a young boy and his family as they try to leave New Orleans, and they are unable to make it out because his little sister gets sick, and so they decide to ride the storm out. And they live in the 9th ward, and the storm starts to hit, and then the levees that were supposed to be holding the water back end up breaking and flooding their house, and he gets separated from his family, which is super sad when it's all said and done. Like, so he ends up having to experience the storm by himself, which is a reality for a lot of people. Families were separated, kids had to ride that hurricane out by themselves. I could not imagine being like 11 years old and having to do that. So she did a good job in terms of like writing it in a way that I think kids could really understand and learn from what happened. I still remember Hurricane Katrina. I wasn't living in Louisiana, but I remember like the news reports that followed and the images and everything, and just like, it's just a disaster that you kind of can't get out of your head. So yeah, I love that she included some additional information in the back about some facts related to what happened during Hurricane Katrina. And I also like in her author's note that she questioned why the US government did not respond the way that they were supposed to respond. If you are my age, you probably remember all of the stuff that came out when it was pretty much, just because this was when Bush was in office. And I specifically remember when Kanye West got on TV. This whole thing about Kanye now, but I remember when Kanye West got on TV and he was like, George Bush does not care about black people. And that was that. I mean, like, as awkward as that may have been to watch on like TV, because it was just extremely abrupt and a lot of people felt like it was like super random, but it really wasn't random when you really think about it, because it took Bush forever to get FEMA into New Orleans, and it did not make sense as to why it took the government so long to get FEMA out there. It did not make any type of sense whatsoever why it took so long and why the people of New Orleans were not protected better. And I liked that she didn't necessarily make it political, but she let you know that in her research and everything that she saw, the governmental response was not what it should have been, which is the truth. It's not a lie. It's not her trying to make something up, and whatever the case may be, it's reality. And it was definitely reality. So I'm glad that she explored that. I also ended up finishing, I gave that one 4 stars, and I ended up finishing Into the Wild by Aaron Hunter, which is the first book in what is the name of this series, y'all? There are so many books in this series, which the Warrior series. That whole series is so extensive. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I ended up finishing the first book in the Warrior series, which is Into the Wild. And I know I talked a little bit about this one yesterday, and I ended up really liking it. I gave it 4 stars. It definitely is like, it's like political intrigue, clan versus clan, but like with cats, which, so I can understand why people are like, no, I can't deal with the fact that this is cats, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't have a problem with books that are told from the perspective of animals, but like I said yesterday, like I know that people do have issues with that, so if you do, this is probably not the series for you. But it's definitely fast-paced, a lot of betrayal and alliances built, a lot of like territorial things going on, which is very indicative of how cats operate, so it's also like not very surprising. But I think kind of seeing like everything played out was really interesting, because like I thought, like, so there's kind of some betrayal going on in the Thunder Clan, which is what Firepaw, who is now Fire, is he Fire Stripe? Is that his name? I feel like it's Fire Stripe. I could be wrong. That's the only difficult thing about the series, though, is the names. Like, keeping track of the names and like who's a part of what clan was a little bit difficult, because you're introduced to so many people. I mean, like tons and tons of, well, cats. Introduced to so many people. You're introduced to a lot of cats, to be honest with you, so sometimes it is kind of hard to keep up with who's a part of what clan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually switching over to starting reading these physically, because I think that just listening to it on audio is a little too much, which makes sense for me, because the whole concept, like the fantastical world type of concept, is very much so present in this, even though we're looking at it from the perspective of cats. It's definitely fantasy. And so with that being said, it is a little bit harder for me to keep up with it on audio, which is surprising, because I usually do good with like YA fantasy, children's and middle grade fantasy on audio. It's usually adult fantasy that I can't really do on audio, but this is a series that has such complex world building and so many characters that I'm gonna have to steer away from doing audio. I thought I was gonna be able just to do audio, but I can't, because between the Gray Paw, the Firepaw, and Gray Stripe, it just is like, it's too many cats. And like, I'm loving it. I think the series is great. I think the fact that like Thunder Clan had like somebody on the inside that was kind of off, and then you figure out like there's somebody that's kind of off in Shadow Clan, and the two of them were going at it without realizing that they both kind of had people internally who were pretty messed up. And I keep saying people, but y'all know I mean cats. It was like, that part of it is like really, really intriguing, because it's one of those situations where it's like you don't know who to trust, and then the way that the story ended, it's definitely going to get, I think, a little bit more complicated, which I can appreciate. And I think that this series, I can see why kids love this series, to be honest with you. It is one of those series that I think is definitely for kids who are really, really going to be into like adult fantasy and sci-fi when they get older. And this is like where they start. This, and then the Wings of Fire series by 2T Sutherland, that's another one where I'm like, this is definitely for like the fantasy kids. These are going to be the kids who are going to be reading these epic fantasies when they get older. I think that this is just such a great like places to start, which I just appreciate that stuff like this material is accessible to them. So like I said, I'm gonna give that one 4 stars. It's kind of hard to talk about the plot outside of what like I kind of said yesterday, because it's easy to spoil it, and I don't want to spoil it. So I'm just going to basically let it be what it is. It is definitely, like I said, it is a great series. I put the second book on hold at the library, so I'm going to wait for that to come in, and hopefully I can get through like maybe 2 more books in the series this month. I've been trying to work through a couple of series. I need to go back and read the Wings of Fire series, but I don't know how that's going to go. But anyway, because I'm getting closer to work, I am starting 2 things today. Okay, today is the first day of of the Skoden Readathon, which is focused on reading Indigenous authors. And then this is also the first day of 30 and 30. But I'm not going to talk about 30 and 30 on here. I will talk, like, basically I'll tell you when I've read things for 30 and 30, but I won't go into details for 30 and 30. If you want to know more about my details of 30 and 30, you're gonna have to check out my other channel, which is the Realm of Comics channel, which I'm so happy about that channel. I love making content for that channel. Not that I don't like making content for the channel, but like my heart is just, I love it. So yeah, but so I have a lot going on this month. I have a lot of reading to get done this month. I have some really wild news. I may be doing something fun with a pretty huge author on Friday. I'll let y'all know. I don't know if I'll be able to get any footage, but I'm gonna try to get some footage and yeah, and share it with y'all in this vlog. Hi, doing a check-in. I am finished with work for the day. I was able to stop at my LCS, and this is what I was looking for. So I was so afraid that he wasn't gonna have the second issue of Earth Divers Kill Columbus, but he did, and I was excited about that because I can't find issue 1 anywhere. I think I'm just gonna have to order issue 1, or I may not. Anyway, the news is I'm potentially supposed to meet Stephen Graham Jones this week. So I have the Marvel, I think it's Marvel Heritage or Marvel Legacy. I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one that includes Marvel's Voices, Indigenous Voices, which has the issue that Stephen Graham Jones did work in. It is Saturday and I am currently getting myself something to eat. I am so low-key tired. So yesterday I pretty much spent a good portion of my day with Stephen Graham Jones. If you would like to see the picture, there's a picture of us right there. It was just really, really fun. Awesome meeting him. Amazing human. Had so much fun talking to him about so many different things. So I am kind of tired from that whole adventure of hanging out yesterday. I am planning to go out with baby girl today. I just wanted to do a check-in to get my energy up. This is going to help me today. Y'all, this actually has been really, really helping. I feel like I have energy throughout the day and it doesn't feel like I'm crashing or burning, which I need because caffeine, like, I don't know if I've ever told y'all, like when I drink coffee, sometimes it makes me feel nauseous. And so I've kind of laid off on that, and caffeine sometimes can make me feel really, really jittery. So I really, really am enjoying being able to use this on a daily basis. Like, I would not lie to y'all, regardless, like this is actually helping me. And it's like one of those things where, like, when you take it continuously, you start to see the effects build up over the course of time, which is great because I've been taking it every day now for like 5 days, and so I can kind of see my energy is like really level throughout the day. And I have a job that kind of does suck some of the energy out of me, so it's great that I don't feel as exhausted. I don't feel as exhausted when I've taken that stuff. So there's 2 things that we're possibly going to do today. I think we're going to go to the farmer's market this morning, and then there is a library book sale that's happening today. So we may try to make all of those wonderful things happen. I probably will sit down and do a check-in with y'all before we leave this morning and let you know what I've read. I've mainly, honestly, like, not gonna even lie to y'all, I've mainly been reading comics and manga because it's just been that type of situation. That's what I've been in the mood for, so that's what I've been reading. So I will check in and let y'all know exactly what I've been reading, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this, eat my breakfast, take a shower, get dressed, and I will let y'all know. So it's Sunday, and I really don't have much of an update for y'all because I have read nothing but comics and manga all week. Literally, I only finished 2 books this week, which was the 2 books that I talked about earlier in this vlog, which included the Warrior series and then also the what's it called, the I Survive books. So I'm going to show you what I've read in terms of because it's a lot. It's been a whole lot, and in no particular order, but I'm saving this content for my comic book channel. So if you would like to see reviews of this stuff, which I will be doing reviews of all this stuff during the month, I definitely would recommend subscribing if this is stuff that you're interested in seeing, but I'm just going to show it to you here. I did end up reading Zom 100 volume 3. I also ended up flying through, which I actually do need to find the second volume of this, and then everything's just gonna fall on the floor, of course. So I did end up finishing baby girl's laughing at me, volumes 9, volume 10, and volume 11 of Blood on the Tracks. If you're not reading this series, you're completely and totally missing out. I don't know what to tell you, and hold on, I'm gonna grab the stuff off the floor. Okay, so the other ones that I ended up finishing was Sweat and Soap Volume 5. I ended up finishing Sweat and Soap Volume 6. I ended up finishing Ladies on Top. I also ended up finishing The Apothecary Diaries Volume 1. I also ended up reading Legends of Black Panther, which was not my favorite, unfortunately. This is by Tochi Onyebuchi, and it's supposed to be like a new origin of Black Panther. It was not my favorite at all, y'all, which was slightly disappointing. Okay, I also ended up reading Killmonger, which is kind of like a one-shot type of thing. Well, it's not a one-shot. It's a 1-volume series about the origin of Killmonger, which is interesting. And then I also ended up reading some single issues. I read Batman and the Deadly Joker issue number 1. I read Tiger Division issue number 1. I read Poison Ivy issue number 1. And then I read Earth Divers issues 1 and 2. These are the copies that I got signed by Stephen Graham Jones. So super excited and happy about that. I think I also digitally read, let me check. I feel like I digitally read something. Yeah, I digitally read Real Account volume number 2. So honestly, y'all, like this was a heavy comics and manga week. It just happened to work out that way because I've been trying to get ahead for the 30 and 30. And so that has been my primary focus. I haven't really been reading any like type of prose books or anything like that. So that's why it kind of ended up being the way that it was. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But that's pretty much it for this week's recent reads. Of course, if you're interested in any of the books, I recommend checking them out. I just wanted to circle back around and remind y'all to make sure that you join me for the 14-day Magic Mind Challenge. I'll make sure I leave the link of that down below in the description box below. I will say, y'all, like 2 of the things that I really enjoyed about taking Magic Mind just for 7 days, like the effects that I was able to kind of feel, was definitely a feel of increase in productivity. I felt super productive this week without any of the lagging that I typically feel like I was overworking. It didn't feel that way. I just felt really productive, which is why probably I ended up reading so much stuff, not just like what I typically read in terms of prose, but I did end up feeling like I read a lot more than what I typically would read in a week because I just felt more productive. And I also felt less stressed out this week. That is a key for me. I don't think, y'all, if you haven't watched the previous recent reads that I did, which was kind of like a month-long October kind of situation, I was completely and totally stressed to no level. And so I think this kind of helped me with my stress levels this week. So I'm definitely excited to continue to take the rest of the Magic Mind that I have. I'm looking forward to taking it because it just felt really, really great. So like I said, definitely join me in the challenge. I'll leave the link down below. And then also, if you're interested in trying it out, I do have a code Bookishrealm14 that you could use to get 20% off, which is a really, really great deal. As always, if y'all like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're interested in supporting the channel, follow me on social media. All the links will be down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon.